All right, so we're live. We're good to go here, man. Recapping day 2 of free agency. Jets only made 2 moves, but they were absolutely massive. I felt like, realistically speaking, both of these guys are going to come in and help this football team. Trading for Geno Smith, signing for corner Nahshon Wright, someone who is, I mean, he was projected to get over $40 million. He's coming in on a 1-year deal. Before I get your thoughts, man, I just wanted to quickly shout out everyone that's been hanging out, everyone that's tuning into these streams. It's so much fun, recapping all these free agency moves and talking about it every March. Like it's honestly my second favorite time of the year outside of the draft, right? Always looking for ways to improve, and it's always so much fun talking to the fans about it as well. So shout out to you guys hanging out, tuning in on a Tuesday night here at 7. And by the way, Tyson, because of the clock change, I'm so used to doing these shows and it's dark out. Dude, it's bright. I don't have to turn on all the lights. I only got one small one going here. It's pretty crazy. Did something happen with Matt Snell?
Yeah, he passed away today.
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, the New York Jets announced that.
I didn't see anything, man. I didn't see anything. That's crazy. Yeah, R.I.P. Matt Snell. Thanks for the heads up, Rel. Thanks for the heads up. But Tyson, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. And I think my opinion's tonight going to ruffle a lot of feathers because the Jets made a lot of moves and there's a lot of reactions. But I think the reaction to Geno Smith, to me, I think a good portion of his fan base is being absolutely ridiculous. So do you want to discuss that? Do you want to discuss defensive players? Or do you want to discuss why Darren Muji should be fired as we have no kicker?
Well, dude, you know what was crazy was, and David, bro, I appreciate you, man. My first ever game I went to was Geno Smith with quarterback. What was that? It was Bucks at Jets, 2013. I remember he had that slant to who was it? Safarian Jenkins for the touchdown pass.
Yep.
Had an interception that game. Yeah, I remember it well. All I can say is welcome home and let's ball. Hope you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that, and also the super chat. Yeah, David, hope you're doing well. It's crazy that you bring up Nick Folk because, yeah, dude, we still need a kicker. Like, it's pretty frustrating, to be honest, to see Nick Folk walk out the door. And when that news first broke, like, I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. Like, the number was kind of all over the place. First, it was 2.8. Then it was 9 mil. Then it was 4.5. It's like, what is going on? It was official last night, 2 years and $9 million. I mean, that is a ginormous contract for Nick Folk. So I'm not as angry about it as I was, especially if Muji has all these different contracts out. He's trying to fill all these things. If you have Nick Folk, with an opportunity to pick up $9 million on a 2-year deal at his age, going to a dome team.
Yep.
Okay, I understand it from Muji's perspective. Like, we can find another kicker. I'm not going to get too wrapped up in that and try to outbid Atlanta, giving you $9.5 million or something. But yeah, dude, let's talk some Geno. So pick swap.
You want me to talk Geno?
Pick
can
swap.
I just say something? Like, I don't care about 2013. I don't care about 2014, 2015. Like, the hate that Geno Smith's getting today, I think, is ridiculous. Because first of all, the past is the past. He's been a much better player since then. Secondly, what else is available that was out there in the market? Secondly, or thirdly, of those that are available, how many of them actually wanted to come here? Not a lot, dude. It's like you look at, I wanted Derek Carr. I wanted Kirk Cousins. They weren't coming here. I wanted Jacoby Brissett. He wasn't coming here. The options kept dwindling, and Geno, of all the options left, is actually one of the better ones, dude. It's like everybody wants a bridge quarterback. Okay, guess what you got? You got a bridge quarterback that can still play football, that has a good arm, can handle the Northeast, can handle this market. Yeah, I'm echoing, right?
See, I don't hear any echo on my end. I think you're all good.
I can hear a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going
fix
on.
That?
Maybe something with your mic setup, or even it could even be the browser too. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you're talking about who's a tier 1 starting quarterback that's going to be available, it's Kyler, it's Cousins, Tua is gone, it's Geno. Yep. It's really those group, right? Like that little group right there. Kirk supposedly has no interest in the Jets, and the Jets don't have interest in him. Okay. Kyler, heavily linked to Minnesota. Okay, probably not going to be a Jet. It
Doesn't
is
fit the Jets.
But he's still in that tier 1 of, hey, he can go out there and start and make plays. Tua signed elsewhere again, Atlanta Falcons. But you're looking at other options, and it's kind of like, who is that guy that you feel okay giving the starting reins to for a 17-game season, who's been there, done that, can handle the media, can handle, high pressure, high leverage situations, 2-minute drills, fourth quarter situations, tie game, overtime, everything, right? It's pretty much those 4. And the Jets were able to come away with one of them. And, it would be one thing if we traded for Geno and took on the massive deal, which was my first thought when I saw Geno's acquiring, or the Jets are acquiring him. I'm like, dude, we better get a restructure coming out in like the next couple minutes. And that ended up happening. So for us to be paying Geno Smith barely over the league minimum is a win. I mean, if Geno Smith was brought in on a 1-year $10 million, 1-year $15 million deal, it would have been a win. If the goal is, hey, bridge the gap from 2026 to 2027, while at the same time upgrading the quarterback position and realistically giving us the best chance to win. I know we're still linked to Carson Wentz and Andy Dalton, but again, I feel more comfortable giving the ball over to Geno Smith for 17 games than I do with, again, Wentz, Dalton, Fields, Tyrod, someone in that,
he's the best of what's out like there. That. But you know what's funny is people wanted Jameis Winston. Oh, Jameis Winston will be fun to watch. He'll push the ball downfield. Guess what Geno Smith will do? The same friggin' thing. He's got an arm, dude. The thing is, give him a good offensive line, give him a running game, let him spread the ball. He can help the Jets compete on offense. That's all he could ask for $3.3 million. Works for me. That's it. Like, everybody goes into the season with low expectations. Oh, we're not going to be good. We're not going to be this. To me, I have no problem. I wanted Brissett too, but it's like, it's not happening. So at some point you got to pivot, get the best guy available. This is who it is. And we move on. That's, and we can have all the opinions you want about Carson Wentz, but dude, the reactions to this is just wild. Like, people just want to hate on Joe just to hate on him. I hate him because of this. I hate him because of that. Great. So then what, week 1, you're going to root for him? Or you just want to have these tantrums all over social media to embarrass Jet fans even more? Look at these Jet fans bashing their new quarterback. Is that what we want to do now? That's the look we're looking for here? It's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's fair to look at the interceptions over the last 2 years and say, hey, what's going on here? He did lead the NFL in picks this past season. Now, of course, with context, worst offensive line, some of the worst coaching, easily the worst offensive coordinator in football. Not justifying the play, but at least you could point to tangible things that are realistic as far as why a quarterback's play might be, diminishing over the course of a season. But I appreciate you, man. If Geno starts significant time for us, we will be getting the number 1 overall pick. Glenn fired, and in comes Mike Tomlin. Here's the thing with that, though. If the Jets are bound to get the number 1 pick, I don't think it's because of Geno. I think Geno is the only quarterback, or one of the only quarterbacks, that gives you the best chance to win. I think if it was Fields, we would not be really getting much hopes up for this upcoming season. If it was any one of these kind of like random backup quarterback options. But Geno, again, he's a starting caliber player. I think if you give Geno Smith protection, you give him a couple weapons, you kind of hope that he can play within the confines and the structure of an offense and give him clear reads to check it down, I think the Jets offense will be fine, assuming that the offensive staff is a little bit better with Frank Reich compared to Tanner Eekstrand last year.
And that's the other factor in this. It's like, what quarterback wants to come to play for Aaron Glenn on the hot seat and Frank Reich, who was at Stanford last year? It's not like the Jets are this shiny new toy that everybody wants to play for. The fact that Geno wanted to come here, we could have went to the Vikings, he could have stayed with the Raiders, says something too. So it's like, I'm not like, it's just, at this point, like, I just want to see competitive football. I want to see an NFL offense. I want to see Garrett Wilson flourish. We want to see Mason Taylor develop. You want to see all these things. That's where we're at right now, dude. Like, he can do all that. You wanted Jameis Winston, you're getting an older version of Geno Smith. That's what you're getting. And fine. And he's not the end-all, be-all, but it's better than the other options out there. Would you want Minshew? Like, would you want Mariota? Like, this is what we're dealing with. Carr and Cousins weren't coming here. Brissett's not coming here. Mac Jones not coming here. None of these guys are coming here. David Mills not happening. Tua not happening. So this is it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so I saw the comment before, like, about Jacoby Brissett. So Brissett's up to this point, he's not getting traded. And yesterday, the Cardinals said that he's going to be the starting quarterback, or the report was that he's going to be the starting quarterback of the team this upcoming season. There was a report that came out, 2 hours ago, saying that the price tag for Mac Jones is, what was the word? It was like astronomically high or something like that. And then even with the Mac, that's someone who's young enough to where you're not just going to get him in the building and he's just going to play out the deal and that's going to be it. He's going to want a new contract,
Yep.
With the cap going up. If you're a starting quarterback, like look at Daniel Jones asking for $50 million a season.
Yep.
Supposedly the Colts they're trying to make it work, but he's set on 50 mil a season. I'm sitting back looking at these options. Even if Geno Smith goes out and has the worst season in NFL history, we're out $1 million. And that's it, like it's.
I mean, look, can we just be honest? He's a significant upgrade from Justin Fields. Significant. Justin Fields, we watched some of arguably the worst quarterback play in the NFL last year. Geno's much better than that. If he's a top 23 quarterback, this Jets team probably win 6 games. Probably is, but they're going to be at least fun to watch. You can develop your offense for your rookie quarterback. He could sit back and watch. Oh, this is how you run it. This is how you can do it. You're all going to learn. You're going to develop. Mason Taylor can develop. You can make plays downfield. It's like there's a whole litany of things why this can work. I'm not walking into it like doom and gloom. He sucks. We suck. We're going to get 1 win. Don't see it, man. And furthermore, I don't want to see that. Who the hell? Like everybody talks about tanking. Do you literally want to sit and watch a 2-15 team this year? I don't. I'm tired of it, dude. Like everybody wants Aaron Glenn fired. What if with Geno Smith and this offense, this team actually plays quality football and they win 6 or 7 games and we see a lot of progress? Isn't that what we really want? Isn't that the goal of all this? Or we're just destined to fail. Let's just fail. At the end of the day, I want to see this. I want to see this team win, dude. I want to see them turn around this year. Show something this year. I can't. Oh, just tank. Let's push them next year and next year and next year. F that. Why? Compete this year. We're going to talk about all these guys on defense. Play competitive defense. You have a top 20 defense and a top 20 offense, dude. They're going to be fun to watch in November, December. Not the garbage we watched last year. And that's all we were looking for at this point.
That's the ultimate goal, man. Get better, improve, progress, develop, right? I hate losing. I hate watching losing. And what's even worse about losing is when you look just incapable of doing anything right. It looks like you haven't been practicing. It looks like the game plan was put together on the way to the stadium. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of weeks, man. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to tell anybody here hanging in the chat. Like, there's been a lot of games where it's just like, what is this? What is this? I'm just hoping for normalcy. I'm hoping to pop on a Jets game on Sundays and the team just is functioning and they look normal. Maybe they're not going to be a top 10 team. Maybe they're not going to have a top 15 offense. But at least it looks normal. At least they're not shooting themselves in the foot. They're either going to win the game, or if they lose the game, I want it to actually look competitive, right? Go back and forth, have some answers, not just be SOL within 4 minutes of the first quarter starting, and it's like this game's over. I made this point in the stream before. I remember growing up watching Chad Pennington's offenses, really those Jets teams, and it's just. We didn't win the Super Bowl, but we looked normal. We looked fun. Like Pennington can drop back and hit an open pass. Yeah, he missed time due to injury. His arm wasn't the strongest. I get it. But those teams looked normal. The Jets weren't a laughing stock. I understand that we have to walk before we can run, but that's really my hope. Can Geno Smith drop back, play within the confines of the offense, look normal, and spray the football around, be the point guard, occasionally extend plays?
And maximize Garrett Wilson's potential. Let Garrett Wilson be the player that he is. Get him his, 90 catches and 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. Like, let Garrett become the superstar that we all know he is. Like, isn't that the goal of all this? Like, to actually maximize your potential? Like, this, I can't do an entire doom and gloom all over again. Oh, I've got so many texts on my phone right now. Like, bro, I feel bad for you. Don't feel bad for me, dude. I'm willing to see what happens here. I'll give it a chance. Why not? We have nothing else to do.
So, what's really cool? As my cats are freaking out back here, there is a feeling of this kind of there's kind of a vibe of like this is almost like a storybook or like a movie, right? Where there is a lot of hatred towards Glenn. There is a lot of people that want him fired. There is a lot of hatred towards Geno Smith. It really feels like their backs against the wall. It really feels like it's Jets versus everybody.
Yep.
Everyone's looking at New York saying, you guys are horrible. You guys are a laughingstock.
Yep.
And it's up to Glenn. It's up to Geno. It's up to these guys to really flip the script on the rest of the NFL. I do believe that there's a chance in doing that. I think that, like, dude, I'm looking at these moves made over the last 48 hours. Mm-hmm. We've gotten a lot better on paper, dude. I mean, yes, of course, the coaching has got to be better, but with all these new coaches coming in, Carl Dunbar, Alfredo, Ryan, Reich, all these guys, Musgrave, like, I think we can actually legitimately take steps forward in the right direction. That's not me being like an optimistic fan, but I mean, you just look at the amount of quality players, the leadership that these guys provide. Like Mika Fitzpatrick knows his stuff on the defensive side of the football. You think he's going to be a source of information for young DBs, be a coach on the field? Demario Davis has been a quarterback of the defense for years, right? We can move Sherwood over to weak side linebacker, so we're kind of killing two birds with one stone there, upgrading both linebacker positions, taking some of the responsibilities off of Sherwood's plate, kind of the thinking, the processing, the communication, giving that to Demario, who's a plug-and-play guy. And then as far as the edge position is concerned, we added two high-end rotational pieces that I feel like are quality NFL players. No one's saying that they're Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, but when, say, Arvell Reese or David Bailey has to come out of the game, or Will McDonald has to come out of the game, we're not replacing that guy with someone who's been a primary practice squad player throughout the course of their career. We're replacing that guy with someone who racked up 40 plus pressures last season, someone who can rattle the quarterback, get into the backfield, hustle, pursuit, right? We're rounding out the roster, sealing the cracks. So that matched with the coaching, I expect 8-ish wins. I got to see how the draft plays out in the schedule, but
you covered a lot. You covered a lot here. We can go through a little more detail. Like you're looking at, they've added leadership, they've added accountability, they've added intensity, they've added energy in every level of the defense. Like Mika Fitzpatrick is a huge upgrade for the Jets, on and off the field, an enormous upgrade. So that's a positive. Now you say, okay, is Malachi Moore next to him? Is Belton next to him? Who do you have next to him? That's fine. You got that there. Demario Davis, the one I think is the interesting one because he's old, dude. He's 37 years old, and I love Demario Davis, dude. Like, he's been very nice. Like, I've interviewed him a bunch of times. He does so much charity stuff. He's a great human being, a great leader, all that. A little bit older, though, but culture guy. Like, the locker room now is going to police itself. Here's a coach's message. Here's our message. Follow our lead now. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. This is how we handle business now professionally. Mika adds that. Demario Davis adds that, and they needed that. Sherwood said it, dude. Like, they miss C.J. Mosley. They miss these guys in the locker rooms, these enforcers, these guys that say, listen, stop being late to meetings. Stop missing your workouts. Stop. Like, you have all this now in there, which pays huge dividends. Because as you bring in more young players, now when Demario Davis retires, the next guy up, oh, listen, this is how we do business. This is how we handle our organization now. And that's how you change the culture team over a long period of time. And it's exciting. The defensive line was a huge hole last year. It was an embarrassment last year. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't get a pass rush. They looked lifeless. They got pushed around. It was embarrassing. Now you're getting guys, every player they sign, what is it? Relentless motor, high energy, nasty, physical. That's what the Jets needed. We talked about it last year. We need dogs on this team, guys that hate losing. We saw more fight from Brownlee, Phillips, and Membu than we saw from all the solid guys. All of them. They're all mopey, sitting around, didn't do this, didn't do that, didn't care. We're used to losing. This is how you change things here. Be pissed off about losing. Want to win. Hate losing. And all these guys kind of fit that mold. They're not perfect signings, no outrageous contracts, no big flashing names, minus Fitzpatrick. But it all makes sense, dude. Now it's up to Glenn. Because last year they had to get players for Steve Wilkes' defense. Now they're getting players for Glenn's defense. He's getting guys that he knows fits his schemes that he can maximize their potential. So it should be a lot more exciting and fun to watch.
Totally. And also, this might be a little optimistic, but I think it's totally fair to bring up. Is it safe to say that Aaron...
Where'd my echo coming from?
Is it still echoing?
I guess they said I got crazy echo. Let's see. What side is this?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But K-Dude, man, that sucks, dude. I hope everything's all good over on your end. But yeah, I know you were in the chat before, dude. I appreciate it. You're always here hanging on Tuesday nights, our channel, Tyson's channel. It's a lot of fun, man. So I appreciate you always coming through, man. But hopefully everything's good over on your end. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the super chat, man, but I don't think I would. I don't think I would. If I'm being honest, man. But we do have to address kicker. We really have to address kicker. Charlie, what's happening? Happy with the defensive moves. Just don't trust them to create a competent team until I'm proven otherwise. That's fair. You know, like the Jets, truthfully, have not given fans a reason to be fully bought in. And so it's really just them kind of looking at us like, hey, you got to trust us here. And I don't think it's unfair for fans to say, you know what? No, you got to go win first. You got to go show us on the field that you aren't a joke, that you're not walking back statements in a press conference. But what I was going to say before was with Glenn, hopefully he's learned something about game planning. Hopefully he's learned something about in-game management. And I understand that he's going to be calling the defense and he's going to have more responsibilities on game day, but just the inner workings of being an NFL head coach. I mean, whether it's at the college level, high school level, even if you talk to guys 1 year removed from the job, they're like, dude, I learned so much. I have so many mistakes that I made before in the past that I'm not going to do. I've learned from it and I can't wait to hit the ground running. Now it seems like that those things really get solved in the head coach's second destination. But I mean, I mean, how many times throughout the course of NFL history have we seen a bad team in year one with not a lot of talent, a quarterback question mark, and not a lot of depth have issues, and then in year two, with more system fits, with better players, more money spent on the roster, they take a big step forward. I mean, Glenn is coming in from Detroit. That's exactly what happened with the Lions.
He's not a first-time play caller either.
Glenn? Yeah. Yep.
He's not. I mean, he's called plays before.
Are you hearing the echo on your end?
Yeah. Why are you hearing it now?
No, I'm not. It's totally good on my end. Maybe it's the headphones. I'm not sure.
I've unplugged everything. I don't know what else to do. I can reboot it. I don't know. Want me to reboot and come back on?
Yeah, if you want to.
Right. You talk to them. I'll be right back.
Cool. Baltimore, dude, I appreciate it, man. Thank you a ton. I'm for it. I'd say go get Ty Simpson and coach him up. Lastly, our defense will be very exciting to watch. Yeah, dude, I think really it starts with the defense getting better. You know, if our defense is just getting ripped apart week after week, offense after offense, they're just marching down the field. It is, gosh, it's difficult to put that on a quarterback, to put that on an offense with, some issue, some holes for sure. So I think once the Jets defense can actually get back on track, because the games where the defense, you kind of felt like held up, like against the Carolina Panthers, against the Cleveland Browns, against the Denver Broncos, like we were in those games and the offense just couldn't move. It's not to say that, the defense was like they turned the corner and they ended the season great. Obviously not, but yeah, I think step one, again, fix the defense. And with all these newcomers and new coaches, Carl Dunbar, all these new guys coming into the fold, Slowick at safeties coach, Booker at nickel corner coach, the hope is more talent, more depth, better coaches should hopefully equal better play. But in regards to Ty Simpson, should be interesting, right? It should be interesting. I could very well see Simpson being the pick, but I do feel like they're probably going to do that day 3 dart throw on a Drew Aller or somebody like that, maybe as that QB3. And then from that point, maybe have like a quarterback 2, Andy Dalton, Carson Wentz in between. But Tyson, you got to figure it out, man.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't hear it echo
it's
now,
so weird because I'm not really hearing it on my end.
I don't think I hear it now. I know, I still do it.
But Baltimore, dude, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, where's our left guard? We got to figure out left guard, man. The good news, there's a bunch of veterans out there on the open market. Kevin Zeitler, Wyatt Teller's another one. I saw that Tevin Jenkins re-signed with Cleveland, and also who was it? There was another guard that just signed. Oh no, it wasn't a guard. It was a center. Luke Fortner went to the Carolina Panthers on a 1-year deal. Cade Mays got picked up by Detroit. So I don't know. The names are starting to dwindle for sure. But there are still some veterans out there, right? Faalele, former Baltimore Ravens, 6'8", 350-pound guard. 350-plus pound guard. An absolute mauler, but had some issues in pass protection this past season. I kind of wish we brought back John Simpson, but not for $30 million. He got paid quite a lot of money. But yeah, left guard's definitely a problem now. Let's see. I think Simpson's the better quarterback, but I think Aller might be better fit for the Jets right now, and Simpson might be better off in a place where he can. You know what? I don't know, because Geno can definitely start the entire season for me. So if you want to argue he needs time on the bench, the Jets can provide that. Where do you stand with it, Tyson?
Well, did you see that John Gruden just did a quarterback class with Ty Simpson?
No, I didn't. I haven't really been online all that much. I've just been trying to keep track of the moves.
I'm curious to watch that because he said this kid's going to be a star.
That's the thing with Ty, man. Like, he reminds me so much of Brock Purdy. Really knows how to break down the defense mechanically, like lower body, upper body, everything just looks so in sync. You could tell that he's a coach's son. Just looks awesome, man. He there's a lot to like, and also, I think when it came to the combine, the biggest question with Ty, or one of the biggest questions with Ty, was the size, right? Because we know he's on the shorter end at 6'1", but at the end of the season, supposedly, like there were rumors that he weighed in the like he was a light quarterback, like or like 193, 194, 195. The goal was 205. I think that kind of is the threshold for like a 6'1" quarterback. That's what a lot of the some of the people that cover the draft, some of the guys that I was talking to the week of the combine, they're like, the goal in NFL circles is 205 for his size. And I think he came in at 214 or something. So he came in a lot bigger. And then once he had the opportunity to do sit down interviews and whatnot, he was able to kind of elaborate on the reason why he lost so much weight during the season. Because it doesn't bode well, right? It's one thing if you're short, but if you're short and thin and light, that, typically doesn't really value like that doesn't equate to a first round pick, especially not a top 10 pick, unless you're some sort of elite athlete. But even Kyler Murray has weight on him. So the big question again with Ty was, what happened with the weight? Apparently he was hurt during the season, and he would have to take this some sort of medication that he couldn't keep food down with. So he basically was he was, I think he had to eat soup every single meal every day for the rest of the season. And so he's like, that's basically the reason, that with the medicine. And I was trying to play through the injury. I remember being on like Alabama message boards late into the season, and people would say like, oh, I saw Ty Simpson around campus and he was like limping, or he was like massaging and holding his lower back. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, like Ty Simpson does not look healthy when he plays. Because that was one of the big knocks on Simpson too. Like, he popped early, and then as the season went on, he started to make some stranger decisions. The ball was leaving his hand a little too early. It just seemed like he didn't really want to be hit. And it looked so much different, and he looked so much thinner compared to the start of the season where he was slinging the ball around. So I think Ty Simpson's going to be a good player. I like Simpson. If the Jets want to draft him, cool. But if not, and they want to wait till 2027, it's not like we're just skipping on Simpson and that's it. We're skipping on Simpson to go get another starter.
Yeah, but I wouldn't skip it all together. I'd still draft somebody in the 4th round or 5th round.
Yeah. Me too. I'm saying if you want to skip quarterback at 6, like say Simpson's on the board at 16, and you say, you know what, we like Simpson, but we're going to pass. It's not like we're just giving away the opportunity. It's like, we're going to pass, but we're going to go draft this wide receiver, or draft this, take your pick, corner, any position of need, really. I mean, the Jets can, despite all these signings, we can still use a lot of help. So I cannot wait for the draft, man. I really cannot wait.
But I mean, in terms of free agency, you got to worry about guard, and what about wide receiver too, man? I think wide receiver is still an enormous hole. You can like AD Mitchell, but You got to think what Juwan Jennings is still available, right?
Yeah, so Juwan Jennings is out there. By the way, Romeo Dobbs got $80 million from New England. That is a ton, dude.
Yep.
A ton. Yeah, I still can't even believe that. Or what was it? I think it was 80 million because I was literally just watching a segment on it. But yeah, Dobbs now off the market. Juwan Jennings is still out there. Calvin Austin is still out there. I don't know how much of a needle mover he is. That to me just kind of feels like a floor raiser. But dude, I mean, with wide receiver, if we don't grab one in free agency, I guess we can still maybe target the whole Brian Thomas thing or just take one at 16 because there will be one, man. Like whether it's a Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper, Denzel Boston, it might be a little rich for some of these guys, but again, pro days are yet to be had. There's still lots of opportunities for guys to build their stock. And, you know, who's to say that we can't draft one at 33? I think there's a very good chance that a good wide receiver will be on the board at pick number 33.
It better be at 16.
Well, Tyson could be there because of the medicals. Lemon could be there. I think Tate will for sure be gone.
I mean, if you stay quiet in free agency, you have to go at 16 or even trade up even further to get somebody. No.
I mean, I don't like reaching on somebody who I don't feel like if it's worth the pick. But we could do. What are your thoughts on going guard Vega Ione without AVT and John Simpson now? Because I know you were against it early, just guard at 16 when we were projected to go grab one of these guys back. But now that both of them are gone, where do you stand with Ione?
Man, that's tough. I mean, I can understand it, but we have no receivers, man. That's to me, I'd rather go. Wide receiver is more important than guard for me at this point. But I would understand taking him though for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not to say that because we still have 33 and 44. So would you be fine with Ione at 16 and then a wide receiver at 33?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I'd probably go wide receiver still there. Depends on how the board falls.
Yeah, I mean, if there's truly a wide receiver there at spot number 16 worth taking, I think they're just going to pull the trigger and just make it happen. But Ione is the best pass blocking guard. I mean, I think bottom line, he's the best overall guard in the class, but what the numbers say is he's easily the best pass blocking guard. He's logged a lot of snaps, a lot of experience under his belt. I think he would fit, and it just feels like a natural fit. But again, the question is guard at 16. You know who's another name that is falling is Spencer Fano from Utah because of the arm length. He went from going, you know, kind of that top 12 to now it's like 12 to 20-ish is where Fano can fall. He was doing center drills over at the Combine. So I wonder if teams are kind of viewing him like, hey, you're going to be more so an interior offensive lineman because the tape is really good. He moves extremely, extremely well, an athletic offensive lineman. And I haven't seen any interviews with him basically saying like, hey, I'm down to play any position. Mawano actually had that quote saying like, there's 5 slots. I want one of them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that with Fano, but he's projecting right now to the NFL more so as an interior offensive lineman. If he starts to fall, because you got to imagine that one is going to be in play for the Lions at 17. And with the Ravens now out of the 14th overall pick and it's Vegas there, I feel like the Jets could land, like if they want to go down that route, they could land an interior offensive lineman, whether it's Vega or Fano.
Now with the number 2 pick, with all the signings on defense, can Sonny Styles fall into the equation at 2?
Maybe. I mean, here's my thing, right? 3-4 defense. Demario Davis just brought in. He's going to play. Jamie Sherwood still on a big contract. He's probably going to play. Outside linebacker. I mean, unless, because I view Styles more so as that inside, you know, traditional off-ball linebacker. I think Styles is going to be a great player. But to me right now, after signing Sherwood, after signing Demario Davis, looking at the money that we're investing in that position, I have a hard time coming back at pick number 2 to go with an off-ball linebacker, even if you really need the position. let alone having two guys that you feel can play and you're paying a lot of money to.
Yeah, but
Unless you view Styles as someone who can play as a outside linebacker in a 3-4 who can rush the passer, and he very well could do that. Like his athletic profile is absolutely insane. The bend that he has, the speed that he has, and also to the explosion, change of direction is really, really smooth with Sonny Styles. But I think at the end of the day, Arvell Reese is probably going to be the pick for me.
Yeah, but I mean, Jamie Sherwood could be gone next year, and Demario Davis could be gone next year as well, though. If you're looking for a long-term vision, a long-term answer linebacker, they could both be gone. And like, I'm not gonna stop making a move because Jamin Sherwood's here.
But do you have Styles rated that much higher than you do Reese or Bailey?
That's a good question, man. I like Styles.
So who would
a lot.
you take second overall if the draft were tomorrow?
Man, I like Styles a lot. I do. I do. I'd probably go Reese. I think the Jets will probably go Reese at this point, but I don't know.
Reese just feels like overall the best player, man. In my personal opinion, the play strength, the ability to set the edge, stop the run at 20 years old. He could drop into coverage. He could just do so many different things, attacking basically every gap on the offensive line, simulated pressures, delayed blitzes. Like, I just feel like the sky's the limit for Reese.
So you don't think none of the moves they've made gave them draft flexibility at this point to make a different change at 2, like where you're like, oh, you know what, we can go a different direction.
Not at 2, not at 2. Okay. You know, I'm not looking at Osai or Enigbare or any one of these additions saying like we can't go with Reese now. Bailey's off the board. I think ultimately it will be Reese, but I mean I don't know. Because I continue to see David Bailey getting mocked to the Jets over and over and over and over and over again over Reese. But I just feel like it's going to be Reese at the end of the day. I just feel like he's a better player.
That's interesting. So who is your favorite free agent signing so far?
If you want to count it as a free agent signing, it's Mika.
So how much of an impact will he have on the defense, do you think? What does he bring to the table? That because to be honest, you were the first guy to mention this to me. I didn't think about Fitzpatrick at all the entire offseason. You were on it like a month ago. So what does he bring to the team that makes you so excited about him?
Well, he's a quality player. And dude, I appreciate that super chat, man. And the question with Vega, I think, is only going to get more and more prevalent as the weeks go on here. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Jets end up sign a guard tonight. You know, it could happen, and we might not have to talk about it. And Paul, yeah, Vega at 16, Boston at 33. Perfect world. Build for your franchise quarterback next season. 3 firsts. Tyson is 27 in latest PFF. Yeah, Tyson's stock seems to be dropping. He didn't really, I didn't really get much positive reports from the interview side of it coming out of the combine. So we'll see what happens with his pro day, but I think there's a chance that he could fall, man. I think there's just that sweet spot of Saints, Chiefs, Dolphins, Rams, Raiders. I don't think the Bucs will go. Well, maybe the Bucs will, now that Mike Evans is not a Buccaneer anymore. But that spot kind of feels like, okay, if Tyson can just slowly get by those teams, obviously he'd be on the board. But also, too, Tyson's not a slam dunk, because I kind of get a little freaked out with the whole injury thing and MetLife turf and everything. But the talent is there with Tyson for sure. But Boston's a good player, man. Boston, I feel like, is one of the more higher floor wide receivers in the class. And then Michael, dude, I appreciate it. Omar Cooper at 33 is a home run. Skylar Bell at 44. Jeremy Bernard. This class is deep enough. That's why you're taking Vega at 16. What about Chris Brazel? I like him a lot from Tennessee, man. He is a smooth mover. He's big, he's tall, he's fast, he's productive. I understand that he doesn't have like the crazy route tree or anything like that, but you just one of the biggest selling points for me is listening to some of the best corners talk about trying to cover Brazel in the SEC, and they all say the same thing. He is like, he could just do so many different things. He could win so many different ways. He feels like one of these guys that's going to be drafted in round 2 that goes to like the Steelers or somebody. Yep. And he's just like Kind of like how DK Metcalf was with Seattle, where like the tape is just so good, but he falls to round 2, and everyone's just kind of like looking around, like he's a good player. We know he's gonna play well, but he's gonna fall to round 2. George Pickens was kind of in that mold. Michael Pittman was in that mold. T. Higgins was in that mold. Brazel, I feel like is right. I'm not calling him Higgins or anything like that, but I feel like he's gonna be a good player. But what was your question before, Tyson?
I forget. Well, I got another question for you though. So
it was about Mika. It was about Mika Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, what he brings to the table.
I just feel like he's a high floor, solid. I mean, let me ask you: is there one negative that you can think of? Anything at all? Age, price, compensation, play style, system fit, off the field issue, nope. Anything at all that you see wrong with Mika?
I mean, if he maybe lost a step, that's maybe it. I have no problem with it at all. I like the move completely. I have no problems with it whatsoever. The price tag isn't bad. There's nothing that bothers you with any of it.
Holmes, I want to get to that in a second, dude. It's an interesting point. So I think, with Mika, he can wear so many hats in the defense. He could play strong safety. He could play free safety. He could play nickel corner. You can send him on blitzes, play up close to the line of scrimmage in the box. Just an absolute professional. I think he's going to help so many young DBs that are in the Jets locker room. He's just going to be a source of information, an extension of the coaching staff. He has the connection with 3 of the Jets defensive coaches. It just feels like a slam dunk. I love that we were able to re-sign him on a 3-year deal at $40 million. That's something that I feel like Trevon Murray got 3 years, $50 million the year prior. Right. I mean, we're looking at what some of these safeties went for. Like Mika Fitzpatrick did not like that's, to me at least, he was the best safety that could have been on the move this offseason, and he signed a relatively cheap a good value, totally fair contract. I was gonna say cheap, but it's not cheap.
Yep.
Didn't overpay for him, and normally, like, okay, you're thinking 3 wins, you got to overpay. They didn't. It was a fair deal. Mika Fitzpatrick would have gotten a deal like that, or maybe even just a tick higher if he was a free agent out in the open market. Like some of these other guys, Kobe Bryant got $40 million. Brian Cook got a lot of money from Cincinnati. So Mika Fitzpatrick for sure was my favorite acquisition. What about you?
Were you surprised by the money that Demario Davis got, as opposed to what Anzalone got, as opposed to what Leo Chanel got? It's an interesting contract they gave him.
Leo got a lot less. I felt like Leo was going to make more. He only got $24 million. I'm like, I feel like there's probably a lot of teams that could have beaten that contract. Contract offer. I don't know if he has some sort of tie to Washington or something like that on why maybe he wanted to go there, but $24 million for Leo Chanel, I think is a really, really good value signing for sure. Super team friendly deal. But with Anzalone, because I have seen the comment like, well, Anzalone got less money and Anzalone's younger. Why didn't we just sign him? We do have to factor in the Bucs situation. The Bucs are knocking on the door of getting back to the playoffs. They play, I would say, in a much easier division. Florida, I would say, is a more, Tampa Bay is a more attractive place as far as the weather and whatnot. He's going to play in at the very least 2 dome games per season. If you have, I think it's just the classic thing that every Jet fan has basically been talking about, where the price that it costs to go play for a bad team is going to be higher. Like you have to do something to separate yourself from a good team if you have offers from two spots, right? Like if there's a same offer from, or if you have one offer from a good team and one offer from a bad team, record wise, and they look relatively the same, what option is that player going to choose? He's going to sign on to the team that's closer to the playoffs or a team that's already in the playoffs. And so with Anzalone going to Tampa, he signed for $5 million less, but on the surface, it looks bad. Like, what are the Jets doing? We could have saved money and just gave it to Anzalone. His price tag might have been higher to go to New York.
Yeah.
So I would have an issue with Demario Davis's age and contract if he was declining as a player, but he's still out there moving around well, stopping the run, like vocal leader, communication, getting people lined up. Communication was one of the biggest issues with the Jets last season. I think DeMario is kind of that lay the groundwork type of move where it's going to help this season. And even if he's not necessarily here next year, the framework that Davis lays this season working with some of these other linebackers, I think could be imperative, maybe for like a Jamie Sherwood's development, him just following around DeMario all day, every day in training camp. Like, I want to watch you, just teach me everything you know. I think that stuff could be, a sneaky, valuable, maybe thing that you can factor into the contract.
What were your thoughts on Dane Belton from the Giants?
I like that. As a third rotational safety. Belton's someone who's started multiple games every single season. He's a major special teams contributor. He doesn't have like elite speed or elite size or elite burst or anything, but he does have good anticipation skills. And you don't stick around on one team as a third rotational safety year after year after year, making great special teams plays year after year after year if you can't play. Again, if you lack that elite speed, that elite size, you have to win, again, in some sort of fashion, to not only just stick on a roster, but to actually be getting starts, being that first guy up off of the bench. So I think maybe in situations where they want to run where the Jets want to run a lot of cover one, you could put Fitzpatrick back there as your free safety. But in packages where you want to creep Fitzpatrick up towards the line of scrimmage or play him in the box, then you can stick Belton in there as that middle field safety, maybe in like third and longs.
Yeah.
So for $6 million, I really don't think it's that big of a deal from a negative standpoint. I think Belton's going to help this team.
And with all the additions too, do you think, we talked about this yesterday actually, but when you have Sweat, you have defensive tackles, you have defensive ends, is Harrison Phillips on the outside looking in, or is this all part of the Jets rotation?
My guess is he's going to be here because I just don't want to getting rid of Pittsburgh just gave Cam Hayward 1 year, $32 million.
What?
I don't know if that number's right. Jeremy Fowler, Adam Schefter, hold on.
I think Afram had
total value 1 year, 32.25 mil, including 16.25 fully guaranteed. Lot of money for the veteran, but
wow.
No, I mean, I think Harrison Phillips should stay. I think he's bought into the coaching staff. He feels a need. Good player. I know what I'm going to get. He's durable, healthy. Let's keep him.
Yeah, no, they got at least some legit talent and good rotations now. You're not seeing no more Clemens and McGregor and Watts and these other guys on the field.
So, Yo Holmes, man, I want to get your thoughts on this. So, Reese is not the BPA or best player at his position. This is crazy talk. Most overrated prospect in the past decade. I could see people being a little skeptical of his pass rush upside because he didn't really do it that much at the NFL or at the college level. And you can maybe point to a guy in David Bailey who has the sacks, who has the pressures, who has a lot of tape of just, whooping tackles basically weekly. But you can argue, okay, in the limited sample size where Reese was successful, if we were to just project that out in the Big Ten, by the way, there is a step between the Big 12 and the Big Ten as far as offensive line play is concerned. You can spin it like if Reese had more opportunities or had these true pass rush sets that Bailey had, his pass rushing numbers would be way, way, way higher if he had those opportunities presented to himself. And I also think too, you make these picks, especially in the top 5, with the next 10 years in mind. And Reese is someone at 20 years old where you can look at and say at 22, at 23, at 24 years old, you're going to be so much better. The hope is you're going to be so much better than you are right now. You're already an impactful piece. You already can stop the run and set the edge and cover and blitz. And you've shown the ability to burst off the line of scrimmage and beat tackles with speed and power. I mean, he can whoop Big Ten guards as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Reese bends really well around the outside shoulder of tackles. And one thing, too, to keep in mind, David Bailey at 20 years old was not talked about like this. David Bailey at 21, right, the season prior at Stanford, was kind of like a designated pass rusher. He wins with speed. He flies off the edge. He has this crazy burst. But the jump, everyone's always talking about the jump with David Bailey from Stanford to Texas Tech. He looks so much more polished, gains so many more moves, comes up to the line of scrimmage with a plan on how to attack a tackle, understanding leverage. Like, he looks like that step was awesome for David Bailey.
Yeah.
I like David Bailey a lot as a prospect. If he's the pick at 2, sweet. Like, sign me up for that. Like, I'm on board. Very, very good player. But if we look at that with Bailey and say, okay, well, his jump from age 21 to 22 was really, really good, really impressive. Why can't Reese have a similar jump? Or why is his growth limited? Right? Are we in a position where we actually have to see it from a tangible perspective? Like, okay, we need to see the production over and over and over and over and over again to know or to have confidence that it will work at the next level. Some people need that, that cemented the actual facts. Some people can go off the projection and feel fine with it. But I do feel like Reese is a more well-rounded player than Bailey. But
I mean,
I still like them both.
The most overrated prospect of the past decade, that was Zach Wilson.
Overrated prospect. Let me try to think of some overrated prospects.
Zach Wilson, man, slam dunk.
You know who was an overrated prospect? I mean, I understand why his stock went up, but John Ross. I remember watching him back at Washington, thinking to myself, like, oh, I'm not really too sure about this. Then he had the 40 record, actually. And I think he was a top 10 pick. He was like 8th or 9th overall or something, 11th maybe. Yeah, this is one thing that I also see too is the Reese comparison to Golston. So Golston's big thing was he struggled playing in a 3-4. At the NFL level. If Arvell Reese played for, UCLA, would that comparison even be thrown out?
Yeah.
I just don't think so. And again, with Reese, it is a bit of a projection. We don't have that tangible, hey, here are, 2 full seasons with 350 pass rush, 350 pass rush snaps that we can go off of, and we could say this is going to translate. But if you base it off of projections, physical profile, and also something to make a note of too, the Jets are going to have a better understanding of what Reese can do, how he can bend around the edge when they bring him in for a private workout. Yep. Whether they love Reese or they hate Reese right now, you have to bring him in for a private workout and see what he can do, see how he moves, and get creative. And with the Jets swapping over to a 3-4, I just like that fit. And Yo Holmes, oh, okay, cool. I was just about to scroll. Reese is too much of a projection for you. Yeah, that's totally cool. And the projection part freaks people out, right? Because it's the Jets. We're notorious for missing undraft picks. We still talk about Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner and Quinnen being like the hits of the draft over like the last 10 seasons, but those were like the most obvious picks ever. Yeah. So to be here at 2, coming off a 3-win season, and to say, we're going to take this guy and we're going to project him to be a pass rusher, like, I totally get why that could freak some people out. He's a very fine prospect, just not the best player today anyway. Good breakdown. No, I always love, your takes, man. But I was going to ask you, who is your guy at 2? If it's not Reese, because I'm assuming it's Bailey, but I don't know. Is it Downs? Is it Styles?
I mean, I'm starting to convince myself it's going to be Styles, but I would probably say Bailey at this point.
This is
I remember that.
Yeah, dude. I was all about Josh Rosen. You know what's crazy? I still will stand by the UCLA tape. I'll watch that UCLA tape and say to myself, you know what? Like, there are tools there. But the big thing, of course, right, with Rosen was off the field, and that was my number one thing looking back that I just didn't factor in was the off field with Rosen. I think hindsight being 2020, when I looked at Josh back then, I'm like, like the off the field, it is what it is. But the whole love of the game thing is real. And he spent some time in Tampa as Brady's backup. after, the Cardinals days, obviously. And living down here, I actually had uh, I had a buddy that bumped into him. And I guess I can't really get into the story right now. He didn't do anything wrong or anything like that, but it's just something that it's, if we're talking NFL quarterback, like it kind of uh, gave some clarification on maybe why the whole off the field thing was, or maybe like love of the game thing was in question to begin with. But yeah, I still love the UCLA Rosen tape, man. So his mechanics are awesome. Go through his reads, played in a spread, played in a pro style. Rosen is so fun,
I was a
man.
Baker Mayfield guy. I love Baker Mayfield. Oh my God. I want the Jets to get him so bad. But I had a question for you though. This is Darren Muji's second free agency class. How would you evaluate him? Like, what's his play like a Jet criteria now that we've seen him going through 2 days of a tampering period?
I would say so far it's pretty good. I mean, we have to obviously see it on the field. But the thing that I think is super impressive with Muji, I think he does something really well that most GMs struggle at, which is looking at players with limited experience on NFL teams, identifying talent and saying, we want you. We're going to go pick you up for cheap. We're going to add you to our locker room and you're going to instantly contribute and instantly look great. That to me doesn't really happen all that often, right? Where you see one team constantly hitting, depth pieces on other teams, and then they show up with his new team and he's great. He is a seamless fit. I mean, Brownlee was a midseason acquisition and he just hit the ground running immediately. Was an upgrade over Michael Carter immediately. Briggs looked great. So I don't see that happening in the NFL. And this offseason, right, the big name was Tavondre Sweat. Mika Fitzpatrick, we know who he is.
Yep.
Right. And you can even argue, too, with Adonai Mitchell. I felt like he showed more with the Jets than he ever did with the Colts. That's still, we'll see what happens there. Still a bit of a projection. But I think overall, I definitely, like, if news comes out tomorrow that the Jets are going to be adding a random depth piece from the Cincinnati Bengals. We're trading a pick swap. Instead of just looking at that saying like, oh, cool, like Jets might have their eye on them. We'll see what happens at camp. I'm like instantly, like I've gotten to the point where in my mind, I'm like, this guy's going to be a starter. Like this guy's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how he handles the guard position, how he handles wide receiver, but he's getting a lot of value, and it's no ludicrous contracts. It's all responsible contracts, so he's doing a good job here. But he's got some work to do for sure. My wide receiver, it's just Jawan Jennings be nice. We need a guard. We need a backup quarterback. It's going to be Wentz. So still some moves to be made.
Stewie, I don't know if you're trolling here. Max Crosby not traded. What? Raiders just posted.
What?
Ravens backed out of the Crosby trade. Yeah, their free agency has been, I'm not going to call it a disaster, but that's the whole thing with the whole new league year. These deals aren't official until 4:00 tomorrow. So these things, it's all like agreed to terms. I haven't seen anything. Let me try to pull something up real quick just to confirm.
I haven't seen anything.
Damn, dude. Well, dude, if you're a Raiders fan, I understand that the haul was nice, but now Max Crosby's back. Let's see. Here's Albert Breer. Let me share my. This is Albert Breer talking about the Jets trade. Let's see. Let's just pull this up before we end it. Wow, dude. It's actually true. That's crazy.
Yep. That's crazy.
Let's see.
They backed out of the trade. We have no further comment at this time.
That's nuts, man. You know who I feel like is kind of like one free agent that is just slipping through the cracks?
Hendrickson.
I mean, dude, because if Crosby's back on the Raiders and the Raiders want to shop him, I mean, you kind of think that he's going to, the calls are going to be coming in with Max first.
What
because
in the world
Hendrickson
happened?
wants 30 mil a year, and supposedly he's not coming down from that price.
The NFL is this. That's crazy, man.
Dude, I wonder how Ravens fans must feel about this.
I can't wait to see the story behind the story for this.
I wonder what, I mean, it's because the Ravens the Ravens have a lot of team needs, man. And they also have to figure out the whole Lamar Jackson extension thing as well. But they lost Linderbaum
Yep.
to the Raiders. They brought in John Simpson. I felt like they overpaid for him. 3 years, 30 mil. I don't really know how dude, the Ravens and the Packers have had very weird free agencies. I don't like either.
Yep. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, that is crazy, man. That is crazy. They're not picking 14th now. Yeah, we were just talking about that, right? They're not picking 14th. So Vega's they did sign Simpson. Maybe Fano's in play for the Ravens at 14. He could play center. He could take over for Linderbaum. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us, man. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
Now I got to figure out my echo issues.
Is it still going on, man? I haven't heard it one time.
Yeah, I guess it must be on my end. I'll get another cord, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think this was Max pulling out of it. Like, I don't think he had anything to do with it. It seems like, well, according to this post, I mean, we only have one side of the story here, but the Baltimore Ravens have backed out of the trade. Maybe it was a failed physical type of thing. I don't know.
Walking back in the building be real awkward now.
Yeah, no. Especially after getting the call that you were traded.
Yep.
But you know what? Max likes the Raiders, so I'm sure he'll be fine with it. But you got to imagine that Max is back on the trade block. I just hope that he doesn't go to New England.
I don't know what's going to happen. That's absurd.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. We'll hopefully have some more free agency news, a trade or something like that. Whether it's later on tonight or tomorrow at some point. Free agency's been insane, but I appreciate you guys for hanging out. So as always, go Jets.